and when you're considering who is going to replace Nigel Farage, one of the first questions all of you must be asking yourself is, do the donors back you? Are you going to be able to fund this party? Because it cost us £6 million last year to run UKIP. Well, who the heck in the world is going to be able to have the confidence of the donors to get them to put their money in their hands in their pockets, pull their money out, and back us? Well, as far as I know, there's only one person, but I'll remain slightly fantasizing right now. But, you know, later on when you're speaking to them, ask them that question. How are you going to find £4 million? Probably the lowest amount that we can get away with is £2.5 million. We're certainly not going to do that through membership fees, are we? So, how are you going to do that? We've got to win at local council levels. If we go backwards, it's going to be disastrous for us. That's where we prove to the people, you vote UKIP, you get UKIP, and our people actually get out there and work and do something about it. So that's how I think we're going to really do it.
Tobias.
Yeah, this might be off topic a bit, but you have a lovely voice. Have you ever considered doing sound books?
I actually think that if the NEC have the way, I'll be doing that next week. A friendly question, it better be, or else this guy's in trouble.
What's the best thing we can do with the NEC? You've gone somewhat wrong.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the purpose of the NEC, I believe, was to represent membership, to be sane and sensible, if there's not too much to ask, and to back our leader, Nigel Farage. And what I've witnessed of the NEC, and what I'm sure many of you have, is that they are none of those things. They don't represent the membership whatsoever. The furthest thing from saying I've ever become, counted in my entire life. And when you've got the whole raison d'etre of our party, the referendum campaign, and they're spending their time and effort moving deck chairs on a Titanic that's going down very quick, it just seems completely and utterly bizarre to me. During the elections in Wales, they gave us not a single penny. 40 constituencies. The best hope that you can have of electoral success in Britain, they didn't give me a single penny. I had to go out and raise £45,000 myself to fight that campaign. And then I got ridiculed and accused by them for the fact that I did it. It's all very, very bizarre. They haven't put their money where their mouth is. I think the best thing to do is get rid of a lot of them. And do what the Conservatives have done. Replace them with a board of professional people who know what the hell they're talking about, who actually are not just going for a day trip to London at the expense of you and I, because they claim for all their expenses, and who are given a task by the leader of the party, which they go away and they come back and they report, and if they don't get it done, they get kicked off the board, and somebody who can do the job gets put on there. If we're going to be professional, if we are going to become the second party in UK politics, which is our goal, what we should be aiming at, we're not going to achieve it with the NEC, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Controversial already. One last question, Elrica, and maybe we might keep it brief.
Hi sir, just out of interest, if you had it your way, what would you do with Douglas Cosma?
I need to do good for him.
Well, what did it for me was when I saw a tweet from Douglas in which he said that basically Vote Leave won the referendum And it was nothing to do with the leadership of UKIP, and quite frankly, they should have kept their big noses out, and they only damaged the campaign. And quite frankly, for a member of a political party to say that about the man who gave us the referendum, without whom we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now, seems to me extremely disloyal, extremely untrue, and quite frankly, I wonder, what in the hell did he join UKIP for? I mean, look at his website, where's the UKIP logo? Where are they on any of his leaflets? You know, the guy's not proud of UKIP. He's not proud of you guys. We are. If you was to kick him out of the party, he would then be able to go back to the Tories and become independent. If we leave him where he is, build a box around him and just say, there we are, and just completely ignore the guy, he's stuck, isn't he? Because he can't leave UKIP, because if he does, he'll have to have a by-election, because he's set the precedent, and he doesn't want a by-election. Because I'm quite sure Aaron Banks or somebody else would go in there and stand against him and probably
I'll
win
stand
as
against
well.
Thanks ever so much, Nate. Well, you know, I'm starting to get worried that we won't have the YI after Monday if the NEC have their way. It carries on like this. But, oh, I won't be making that. My apologies, mate. It was just such a good speech. I didn't want to disturb it. I thought it would take the gravitas out of it. Me popping up and oh, I've just got to change this. Now, if I do ever go into achieve a public office or ever go into politics professionally, one thing, there's two images I'm really worried about coming out. One is shut up. Nothing rude. One is me in a red army jacket, and during my student days, and another is me in an NUS conference.
Shame!
As a delegate, although we didn't do jazz hands in those days, I don't think triggering was really a word. But I'm very proud to have, as a colleague in YI, a guy who is taking on the NUS, Thomas Collins.
Can you just make sure you do jazz hands? I might feel triggered if you clap, so we really appreciate it. Well, thank you very much for thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. Some of you may know me as the UKIP Students Chairman. Today I'm going to be speaking on behalf of NUS Skeptics, just talking a little bit about what they have to do, and sort of where you can get involved. So, National Union of Students, if you haven't heard of the organisation before, is an organisation which claims to represent 6 million students. Most students would identify it as somewhere you get these NUS extra cards. Trevor's had Nigel on his passport or something like that. So basically it's designed to do that, represent students nationally, about 6 million of them. And NUS Skeptics was formed as an organisation designed to be against the directions that the NUS is heading and where it's going, and it was basically designed to sort of hopefully do some disaffiliation referendums and sort of coordinate sort of delegates for national conferences which take place every year. So the movement was started in about February, March this year by a good friend of mine called Charlie Evans, who started it this year. And it was mainly for long-term sort of thing, but it exploded quite rapidly in about April of this year when a lady by the name of Marlene Boatia got elected to president of the NUS, who's got some very interesting views, to say the least. So it kind of exploded from there, and from that we had about 16 referendums over the past few months. And out of those 16 referendums, 4 universities chose to disaffiliate from that. Which were Hull, Lincoln, Newcastle and Loughborough. And that's a fantastic achievement, given we were up against a multi-million-pound organisation with students pretty much in their exam time and NUS full-time campaigners going across the country. So it's fantastic to see. And the movement's going from strength to strength. We've got further referendums lined up when we get back in September. Bath, Bristol, Plymouth, Royal Holloway. They're all going up in terms of, sort of referendums. It's going to be really exciting to see where the movement will go. So what I'm going to talk about next is just sort of the problems with the NUS and then what you can do to get involved in it. So the first thing I'd probably highlight is, like the European Union, the NUS is undemocratic. So one of the things, so how the NUS decides policy at the moment is you basically go to there's delegates elected to a national conference that decide policy and voting elections to decide who should be the national representatives. And this works, but the problem is the turnout of these elections are extremely low. So they're less than 1%, and the people elected tend to be sort of social justice warriors, feminists, socialist types. So these people are elected. And it's a real, so you get these absolutely ridiculous policies which come out, which you probably hear about in the media from time to time, which are laughable to say the least. So what happened? So there's been ideas to try and change that, so put parts of conference. So the idea of one member, one vote, which would basically give every student, who's a member of the NUS, an opportunity to vote on the policy and the leader. And the NUS, for year after year, has rejected this motion, frankly, because it knows it will lose its influence, it will lose its power. It won't see individuals like Marlene Rouatia elected, and it wants to keep that sort of far left clique where feminists and socialists are represented proudly, because they know there's more to it than that. So that's one of the first issues with the NUS. The second issue, I think for most people wide, it's a prominent issue, is the idea of free speech. And the NUS is very much anti-free speech as a whole concept. So what they have is a no-platform policy. And this no-platform policy is being used to basically ban speakers from appearing on campuses, debating with them, sort of associated with them. And it's used to currently the English Defence League, the BNP, Hizb ut-Tahrir, and the Muslim Public Affairs Committee, to name a few. But this policy has almost become like a top-down approach. So it's been used at King's College London, for example, to ban Boris Johnson from speaking after his comments on Barack Obama and his Kenyan heritage. It's also been used against UKIP at Derby University, where we were banned from speaking because we were apparently a homophobic and racist party, which is quite bizarre to say the least. But the NUS have also used it themselves. So they've used it, the LGBT will use it against Peter Tatchell, a prominent gay LGBT rights activist, apparently because he was racist and transphobic. I've never heard Peter Tatchell utter such words, racist and transphobia. So why they banned him, I'm not quite sure. And then it's also been used against someone who's hated by my actions, hope not hate Nick Lowes, who basically got a taste of his own medicine, when the NUS black students when argued he was Islamophobic. So it's quite nice to see him get a taste of his own medicine and how he treats our activists. So that's sort of the second thing. The third thing about the NUS is, I think for me, this is what annoys me the most, is it pretty much chooses to act like this bizarre national body which can make any sort of policy. So it's, in recent years it's sort of stemmed out the student ideas remit. So after the government voted to go into bombing in Syria, the NUS-NEC decided to act like a nation state by condemning it. I don't know what it's trying to achieve there, what sort of direction it thinks it's going to do, or what influence it has on the global stage, like the United States or America or NATO are going to listen to them. And then also, some of the other ones they've done, in March 2015, they decided to condemn Mexico. I don't know. I have no idea what the NUS...
Supporting Trump, I suppose.
So, let's back on. And then the NUS black students win this year decided to vote to abolish prisons. So, I mean, what does the NUS think it's going to do with these sort of criminals? I don't know if this will let them vote for me.
Send them to university.
And then I think the fourth one, this is the most bizarrest one I found. They voted in a motion to solidarity with the Irish anti-water charges movement. I mean, I don't know what the NUS was thinking at that point, right? And it was a stupid issue. But it's what all this shows. The idea that the NUS basically, Shelley Asquith did an interview this week, which by the way, she accused people of wanting NUS disaffiliation as hard right, when the movement is comprised of Green Party activists, Labour Party activists, SNPs. So it's quite bizarre she calls Green Party members hard right. So
They are right-wing in the US.
yes, so there's that, and it's just like this sort of attitude, like they want to just educate the people in terms of how to think like them. But people are independent-minded, I think that we should celebrate that. I don't know why the US chooses to do that. So the fourth thing, I think, which angers me most about this, is the NUS hate us as UKIP as a party. So the reason why UKIP students was formed back in 2014 was because the NUS, at their conference, decided to pass a motion condemning us. Now the motion was passed under the name Get Out the Vote, Stop the Far Right. And they claim that we are apparently a racist, xenophobic, homophobic, and sexist party. From my time in Wire, I've never seen these labels at all. It's frankly ridiculous that the NUS condemned us when we are a major political party. It was shocking. I was amazed. So it's basically made it difficult for us as a whole. The NUS has been really anxious, it's been really difficult to set up branches across the country. We've seen that over sort of recent years. They're also in the NUS in their EU campaign. They were very much at their conference in 2015 decided to take a Remain stance on the EU referendum. Now, frankly, this made it very difficult across universities across the country. They were basically encouraging student unions to take a Remain side of the referendum. Megan Dunn, who was the former president of the NUS, was on the Britain Stronger in Europe board. There was numerous sort of ways the NUS was taking by funding campaigns, funding material to vote Remain. So it's generally difficult. So it was very nice to sort of spike me in the back a bit by seeing this country vote to leave the European Union. So the NUS is definitely sort of very much anti-us in terms of a party, probably because it represents sort of the Corbynista style politics that we all know. And the fifth thing, and final one, is the NUS and Malia Baratia. So Malia Baratia currently is president of the NUS. She was elected at the Brighton conference this year. And Malia basically was the previous black students officer, where she campaigned like saying that our curriculum was white and it needed to be changed. She's campaigning numerous issues. But she came to notoriety in 2014 when she failed to, in a motion to condemn ISIS, arguing that the motion was Islamophobic. Now I've looked at that motion and I cannot see a single sign of Islamophobia. So I'm not saying she is ISIS, I question her logic when she's having to condemn, she refuses to condemn ISIS. If anyone was offered a condemn ISIS motion, I expect them to condemn it. It's quite bizarre that she would take that approach. But she's really sort of quite concerned with her remarks. So this year, 52 Jewish Society presidents wrote a letter to Malia concerns about her views on Israel, on sort of Judaism, sort of that thing. I was quite worried. She referred to Birmingham University as a Zionist outpost, and and she said that Birmingham had the largest J sign. I don't know why you make that sort of remarks. It's quite worrying that such an organisation would make those kind of comments. And she's associated with numerous sort of anti-Semitic groups like the Muslim Public Affairs Committee and CAGE, who are effectively like a religious organisation. And there's so many sort of just horrible views about her. I mean, she said that BDS, which is the Boycott, Divestment and Settlement movement in Israel, she said that it was a bad thing because the movement was non-violent. Frankly, it's shocking, it's quite worrying that this lady is in charge of representing students across the country. I don't trust her. I don't trust those students. I think many students are feeling disillusioned with her and her leadership. So I don't see how we can be represented by her as a whole. So all of this, the NUS will say time and time again that they can reform, they can change. Well, I don't see it. They've been promising reform since 2008. My friends listened to every successive NUS president who told us they can reform, they can change. We haven't seen this. We haven't seen this occur. Every time they promise it, it doesn't happen. So it's just getting a sort of worrying state of affairs. It's getting worse and worse. The motions to that we've sort of seen in recent sort of weeks, even since the referendum, the NUS disaffiliation referendums, in terms of their vote to abolish prisons, and there's a whole argument going on about Jewish representation on their anti-racism and anti-fascist committee. And it's a worrying state of affairs that the NUS is not going to reform. So the question I ask next is, so what can you do as students? So what I would urge you to do, to get involved in NUS Skeptics firstly, that would be a key thing if you're a student, and then try and call a referendum at your university. So under the 1994 Education Act, each student union is legally obliged to hold a referendum if enough students demand it. So I urge you to do that, get campaigning hard on campus, NUS Skeptics can support you in that, and really sort of try and build a movement. We've seen success across the universities, and we'll show you that sort of winning model, which helps us to win the argument. But if you aren't able to do that, or if you've seen a university, recently 16 universities, 12 who have voted to remain in the NUS, what I urge you to do, stand for NUS delegate, go and expose the organisation for what it is, or stand for NUS national positions, go and expose them to do that. I stood up on the Brighton Conference in 2016 and stood for NUS Block of 15 and made a speech there and ranted about how terrible the NUS was. And our Vice Secretary and former Chairman, Jack Duffin, stood for NUS President. Coming last. But it's that we exposed them, we challenged their views, we challenged some of their positions, and it's a great thing to do. We've just got to keep doing that, and like the EU, we've just got to keep writing it down, like this NUS, because it's a worry. This organisation is a worry. It's not representing students. It is concerned. It represents kind of far left wing, and it can't go on. So I urge you to get involved and bring this organisation down. Thank you very much.
I thought we were clear on jazz hands. Any questions? If you wouldn't mind being brief in your answer. Any questions? Yes, Nick.
2 points though. Firstly, I think we stop using the term Islamophobia. Phobia is defined as a rational fear, which is no longer irrational as anything but. I'm personally very scared of it. And it's getting to the point now where it's a daily occurrence, so it's no longer irrational. We need to stop using that. The second point is, would you go as far as to say now, on record, in writing, or in an article, whatever, would you go as far as to say now that the NUS effectively endorses anti-Semitism? Yes. And as such, it also endorses the careerists within it, which progress within the Labour and Green parties?
I think the NUS action speaks for its word, and so they're having a review at the moment in terms of sort of their race, sort of anti-Semitism within the movement, under the sort of Running Mead Trust and investigating it, and Marlon herself has been investigating. The fact that she wasn't removed from office says a lot about the NUS in terms of its potential views of sort of hatred of the Jewish people. So that's quite a worrying state of affairs. I think it is made up of careerists. It's made up of people who want to be future Labour Party people involved. You see Shelley Asker, who's VP Welfare. She proudly shares platforms with Jeremy Corbyn continually, and it's quite. And obviously, I assume she's looking for some sort of Labour Party work or Labour MP. But it just keeps on. It keeps on going. So that's what I have to say on the matter.
Yeah. More with your UKIP students hat on now. Do you have a target for how many delegates you want to get to the next conference, and how you're going to go about getting them?
I'd like to see obviously as many as possible. Even if we got sort of 10, that's a good number. I mean, there's a lot more people fueling. Working with other parties and sort of organisations, we could definitely get more people elected. But just getting out there, speaking to people. These elections are often on low turnout. So basically, it's just talking to your friends, talking to people, getting involved, and most people just vote for you. It's regrettable that sort of these are on low turnout, but it's also an advantage to us because we can get elected. So that's what I have to say.
I'm just going to Tom.
Yeah, Tom. One of the big tactics the Labour Party used about 10-15 years ago is they recommended universities. So their big one was Warwick. So it was all Labour, all young Labour, please go to Warwick University. If we thought about doing something similar,
Oxford, for example.
Well, we could try. Hopefully, it would be enough to see how many we can get in. I definitely think York's a stronghold for us. We've got a fantastic society up in York. Thanks to Tom Sturton. But it's great to see. So definitely, I urge you to go to York, get involved there because they're doing really well up there. So
Thanks so much, Tom.
Thank you.
Yes, why I'm so homophobic. There'll never be a gay chairman of why. NEC trying to shut us down, they nearly did once, and a very brave woman stood up for YRNet and made sure that didn't happen. There's no other way to describe our next speaker other than the matriarch of YRNet. She's very much looked after us. She continues to support us very generously. And one of our honorary co-presidents, Jill Seymour.
Good morning, everyone. You still awake? Jolly good. I think it's nearly lunchtime, actually. I'm conscious of the time, so I will try and be as brief as I can, and I'm sure my colleagues say I'm never that brief. I'd like to thank you all for letting me talk today, and well done to all the team, by the way, who's put this conference together. You know, it takes a lot of time and trouble, and I hope these are continuous as well, and a lot more people are coming along. I've watched over many years the growth of the Young Independence Group, and especially individuals who have shown many outstanding qualities: energy, passion and intelligence to stand above the rest. I believe it's you that has had the confidence, clear understanding and determination to stand your ground and explain to the public why you believe and see a positive and bright future outside of the EU. We should be proud, well, ecstatic. We have won the referendum, election, and hopefully leaving the political union. So once again, we can be a country of self-determination. We should be proud to be able to be patriotic and fly the Union's Jack. It is no different than when we show our support to the great British sports teams, our football teams. We fly our flag through unity of our communities of many religions and backgrounds. We stamp our flag on so many British products. We see our flag flown by many businesses. We fly our flags for our monarchy and our sovereignty. We should never be suppressed in loving our great country. Each one of you should be proud of your identity and be able to look towards a new future outside of the EU and into the world. Where is the Armageddon, the doomsday scenario? Project Fear has now become Project Hope. A country filled with confidence, determination and aspiration to a positive economic growth, a future for you and your generations to come. We have always known that we are big enough and strong enough, and so did 17.4 million others. Already we have seen countries approach us for future trade: Austria, Canada, America, India, South Africa, to name but a few. Major corporate businesses having confidence investing in the UK as a solid base for trade. It's our self-determination, our sovereignty and democracy installed in Great Britain for a great future. To think some 15 years ago, when I delivered a speech, I could only see the odd young person in the audience. Yet here we are today, speaking at a UKIP Young Independence Conference. Well planned and organised, that offers so much to so many. An opportunity to network and hear from your fellow colleagues, promising ideas and a direction you would like to see UKIP develop. An opportunity to hear from individuals who have key positions or others as councillors. Which leads me to ask if you believe in supporting your local community and have thought about standing in elections to be able to deliver that support. It is grassroots politics that gives you a stepping stone while doing a proper job to develop your potential political skills and potentially a seat in Westminster for the future. It is one positive way to show that UKIP has a continued future as a party in its own right, built in a strong local manifesto policies. It's because one of you listens, each one of you listens to your constituent, that gives them the belief UKIP is a party for the people across the political spectrum. Being active in your local branch, gaining support and discussing your local issues is a brilliant way of making new friends and bringing in new members to join the UKIP family. We are in interesting times, with Labour tearing themselves apart, giving no strong opposition. The Conservatives have a complete new cabinet, more or less, now have a major job to honour and respect for 17 million votes to give us Brexit, and I mean Brexit, putting Article 50 into place as soon as possible. I know all of us have worked our socks off to achieve the excellent results on June the 23rd, but I still get asked, well, now you've achieved your goal, surely there is no need for UKIP. Gosh, how wrong they are. There is more reasons for UKIP. Besides our immense growth by our councillors, with our recent success in Wales and in London, we now have a bigger role to play. To be breathing down the necks of every MP, especially the new Conservative cabinet, and pushing them towards achieving an amicable and smooth departure from the political union, while working together as good neighbours. We do not need to convince the 17.4 million voters on where we stand. In fact, we have gained many new friends from this referendum, including other political parties. Sadly, we've been targeted by some who are very upset about the end results and quoted some very unfair comments, not recognising democracy. I, like yourselves, will always condemn any kind of bullying or racism in all walks of life and will work side by side for a better future for everyone. So this leads me to our upcoming leadership elections in UKIP. I believe we need someone with experience, talent, aspiration, a vision for UKIP that potentially is new and refreshing. They recognise that no one could ever fill the shoes of Nigel, but to continue his legacy in fulfilling our end goal, an amicable divorce from the EU and MPs in Westminster. A connection with the constituents who has lost all faith in politicians and politics, where many have never voted at all. A proud patriotic individual who understands diversity and the challenges this world is facing. A person who can find amicable solutions for a better, brighter, stronger and healthier Great Britain. An individual who has mass experience with the media and truly understands many political subjects, locally, generally and worldwide. An individual who's come from a humble background and relates to the working class and their present difficulties. This person has achieved so much to be at this point and has the chance to continue to grow as our new leader. I know they have the network and support to take UKIP to a new level, expanding our membership and getting us all to the exciting 2020 general election with new UKIP MPs in Parliament. I know they certainly connect to many of you and see you as I do, as the future for a positive, united and stronger Great Britain. So I'd like to announce today, I shall be giving my full support to Stephen Wolfe, in thanking each and every one of you personally in everything you've done in the past. Asking you to continue your support, giving your support, and wishing you a very bright and happy future in the UKIP family. Because you are the future of UKIP. Remember, all we want is a full English Brexit. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Any questions from the floor?
Yes. Hi there, Jill. You talked about the ongoing relevance of UKIP as a party, and in the whole, grand scheme of things. We already know that there's been a few devolutions of councillors, especially from Conservatives over to our party. Do you think in the future there will be many more, that Conservatives will recognise the continued relevance of UKIP, and possibly more devolutions, maybe even of MPs?
I think what we found is that Theresa May has been very clever woman in her selection process. And we've seen a rise in the Conservatives 40% at the moment, because people are hoping and believing she will deliver Article 50 and get us out of the EU. But people, like all of us here in this room, our patience has been running quite thin, and they will only give us a certain length of time. And I think if we see over the 6 months, next 6 months, I believe, if we do not see these things happening, because of the relationship we had at the referendum, we're actually working with Labour, Conservative and people that were independent, people who never voted before. There were a lot of people that came along and joined our activities every day. And I think the hostility we initially got from the opposition and other parties and different people, after a few hours with us, they realised that we're actually a very friendly team. And part of this, they knew exactly what we were doing. And I truly believe now that if Theresa May gets this wrong, a lot of people will surge over to UKIP. But I would like to remind you as well that UKIP has its own policies now, which other parties try and pinch. And it's because of that, UKIP in its own right is growing immensely. And it's because of you guys.
Anybody else? Yes.
I'll have to go again. Hi again, Comrade Seymour. My question is to do with, also if I had a drink, I would have drank twice, because you said aspiration, which is what Blairites have always told working class people and aren't called to. They got really tired of it. My question would be, people are talking about how social mobility, that seems to be Stephen Wolf's pitch. If you like, working class lad from a humble background, he's done very well for himself. But what a lot of working class people have, the reason why they went UKIP in the first place in a lot of Labour areas is that there's a lot of people talking about what they're going to do for working class people from Moss Side or from Merthyr or from Hartlepool, but no one's actually talking about what you're going to do for working class people in those communities. So my question to you is, do you think there is danger of you aping Labour's disconnection from these areas by talking about, by your main policy being about how you can get people away, as opposed to what you're going to do for those communities? That would be my question.
Right. Well, firstly, that every community has to be treated individually. Having an en-bloc type of attitude for the whole of the UK doesn't work. Every community has its own pitfalls and also has its strengths. And it's up to us as councillors when we get in there, or potential MPs, to recognise those individual issues. That is the only way we can recognise the problems that working class people have. There's a general balance of things for working class, but I think you'll find that most areas, from north to south, have very different issues, and we have to address those.
No, I'm good.
Also, everyone's waiting for lunch. Well, thanks ever so much.
I try to keep it short.
Thanks ever so much, Jill.
Can I just have one final say? Just to say I'd like to thank you all for coming today, and hope that you do rally behind the leadership elections. It has been uncomfortable. You've heard from Nathan and you've heard from David. I, for one, I don't know how long Nathan, I think he's been around for a long time. I've been in this party 16 years, 17 years, and I have to say that right now, I think if the NEC make the wrong decisions, it will be the worst mistake they will make, and I hope that they don't. I'm not going to say much more on their decisions because they are the NEC, and I try and respect them, but I think many of us are finding it very, very difficult at the moment, and I hope that they can resolve these issues quickly for the benefit of our party and for our country.
Yeah.
I'm now going to hand over until lunch the chair to our new secretary, Colonel Gaddafi. I mean, Jack.
Well, I'm back for the next two speeches. It moves from sort of being a YI conference to a retirement party for the next two. They've been around for a while, really good friends. So first up, he was absolute pain in the arse when I was YI chairman because he was my deputy. Probably the main reason I tried to abolish the role several times. But we had a whale of a time. We achieved a lot, and it's 4 years on the council, or sort of council stuff. And he's fantastic work. When me and Tom came along, regions were just some idea that they might happen, and now YI is having conferences and doing so much more. So introduce Councillor Thomas Hoop.
Hey!
Well, it's a good job Jamie and Edinburgh. Where's my picture? Yeah. First of all, thanks to everyone for us organising the conference and all of you for turning up. I remember when we first started having YI conferences, and it was a jump into the dark for us. We didn't know whether people would come or not. I was invited to speak about my experiences in YI and how we've changed and progressed to where we are today. And I still think there's a lot of work to do. That we are by no means a finished article. When I first joined UKIP in 2010, YI was, well, it didn't exist really. I think we had 300 members. Michael Heaver was YI chairman, I think. And the first event I went to, the national event for UKIP, was the 2011 Felton and Heston by-election. And about 10 YI, probably 5 YI members turned up to the action day. And there was always that one guy in YI that would go out and he'd be leafleting, knocking doors, you know, the real example of what you should do as a YI member at a by-election. And then you have the others, and they were the ones that were quite unprofessional. They'd go out drinking, not really, you know, canvassing the bars. And I'm always glad to say I was the one in the pub. But seriously, how we progressed from then. I thought I'd tell a few stories about why with the times, and I probably shouldn't because I get myself in trouble, but seeing I'm retiring from the Y council after 4 years, I don't really care. Yeah, not too long. So this will sort of show you where we've gone from Y, from when we were just troublemakers more than actual a campaign force like we are today. So we had a Brussels trip, a YI Brussels trip in 2012. It was the first one we've ever done. And before we even got there, we were in the Sunday. You boozy weekend in Brussels. Quoting the papers, we haven't even gone yet. So we go. We listened to million speeches. It was Stuart Agnew who sponsored the trip, and he did his speech, and it went on for a while, and a few people fell asleep. But it was very interesting. I actually learned a lot from that. And then we had good old Godfrey Bloom do a speech. Interesting. He came out with us after as well. It was a good laugh. Well, anyway, it was an obsession in why we must go to the biggest bar, the biggest pub, and there's a place in Brussels called Delirium. It's holds a world record for the most beers on tap. David's smiling. I can tell you some stories about that. So we went there, and then opposite there was an absinthe bar. So, you know, the nights got more ridiculous and more ridiculous and more ridiculous. And we saw these people in the corner, I think they were Polish students, and they were drinking absinthe, and you set it on fire, and then you drink it. I big lad. So we're drinking this stuff, it's awful. I can't remember what it was. They knocked me, and we knocked the absinthe over, and it set the whole bar on fire. So we were evacuated out of Brussels. What do we see in the papers? You set fires. But then we had the serious times when we're talking about if we move on to 2013. And UKIP, it was sort of a realisation. Me and Jack got elected onto the council, and it was like, hang on a minute, we're not on 3% anymore. We're on 15, 16, 17, 18% in the polls. We best actually start doing some proper serious work. And this is where the regions came in. And when me and Jack first took over the Wye Council, there was no regional chairman. There was no county chairman. There was no branch representatives for Wye, and that was our biggest objective. And we achieved it, but we wouldn't have achieved it without people like you in this room today helping us get there. And I think it's really important to note that now we've got a fully fledged council, a full Wye regional structure, and that never used to exist, and it's to the credit of you people in this room that got us that far, and that when I first joined Wye, I didn't hear anything from Wye for 2 years, and now people are joining and are hearing from their local regional representative within days or weeks, and I think that's a credit to you all. So in 2013 we had the Birmingham conference, and it was a YI Birmingham conference, and it was our first one where we thought we're really going to give this a go. And we sold 150 tickets, which was amazing, and David Coburn spoke there, made it onto the news. We had a training day, and Bill Etheridge made it onto the news. And we were on the front page of The Guardian. You know, they said I was the future leader of UKIP, but they also said Chris Wood was the future Nigel Farage, so... You can take that with a pinch of salt. But anyway, we got on the YI night out. Another drinking story. And Jill Seymour was co-president at the time. Oh, I'll come out for a drink with YI. And there was about 40 of us. I can remember Kate being there, Kate is. And Jill's in the club, and she's, you know,
Reason for that.
Riju or something.
Risa,
that's it. Rammed, wall to wall. You know, I felt old in there. And Jill's in there in the corner. I turned around, she's got 2 bottles of blue VK in her hand. And that's where her presidency came in. But in all seriousness, without the help of Jill, why I wouldn't be with where it is today, the same as Steve and John. She just missed that story, so I'll be alright. And then we move on to the 2014 elections. And without YI's help and their action days, UKIP would not have won the 2014 European elections. Without a doubt. Without YI, it wouldn't have happened. Yet again, a credit to all of you in this room. So, I think I've spoken much about drinking stories, but what I would like to add, and I'll probably get in trouble for this as well, when Jack and I took over YI, there was 900 members. When we left, there was 3,800.
Yeah.
Contrary to what some leadership candidates say about being all there, it was their victory. This is a certain leadership candidate, it's not here today. It was all them and they did it all. Jack and I didn't make for 2,000 something members come out of thin air. It was because of the hard work of you people. It would be horrifically wrong for anyone to take the credit of the ordinary YI members of the branches. Now, I'd like to finish on just saying thank you all for having me, and I hope you look forward to the leadership hustings after. To those of you that are already in the room, I'm not going to go easy on you. I will be who Dim will be. Just like I was with Dan and Jamie. So thank you all for having me.
Questions, the more difficult, the more outrageous the better. Anyone?
Tom, you're sacked.
Happy retirement.
So, thanks Tom. Let's switch on. There we go. So now it's speech from Joe. Joe is retiree now, having a happy retirement. So this weekend's all about pulling the knives out of his back that come with running a political youth wing. So no, we had some fun. He took over from I'd say a decent vice chairman. Who was that? State. So no, next up, Joe.
I came in today and I was sitting here and I was genuinely thinking this is such a weird experience actually, because since I joined Young Independents, I've not been sat in the audience. I've been part of it. I mean, I started off my first YI conference and we announced UKIP students. I mean, that was the first ever conference I ever went to. I mean, you know, and when you think of that as a genesis story, and then the next one I was chairman, to now sitting in the wing actually makes me feel incredibly upset. I mean, it's the weirdest feeling. Now, this is not really so much as a speech, as much as it is a thank you. Because my tenure as chairman was incredibly rocky, it was incredibly fun. We had some incredible moments, and I mean, there are some people in this room, Clear, for one, I'm looking at you, if I can actually see where you are. It was amazing. We actually, Nicholas as well, Oldham. We did Oldham. I mean, if anybody ever came into that flat in Oldham, they'll know that we literally lived in squalor for a month. 2 months nearly, it was appalling. But we went out and we worked, and why I was there. I mean, that's the first time that I've ever seen, if anybody knows Nigel never says anything. That's, you know, he never pushed you out, he never said what you're doing. He noticed why at that time. I remember him coming in and looking. We had this big billboard, and we'd written all on it, every member, and he remembered it. I still remember that moment. He goes, "Oh yeah, okay." that in my eyes was a brilliant, you know, sort of accolade towards YI. You know, if you know Nigel, you know that's true. So I wouldn't have been able to do any of this whole thing, without a certain couple of people, and I do have to mention them by name. And actually, luckily, they're in the room. First off, probably the man, David Coburn, is mad, right? I mean, when you talk about moments of insanity and clarity, and if you know David, you know that's totally true. You know, but the first man that ever came and helped me. I still remember stood in Dundee University, and there was no other, and Callum Walker's in this room as well, there was no other, there he is, no other political party would deal with me during the the separation referendum. None of them would deal with me, because I didn't want to deal with sort of the better together idea. The only people that came out and helped me were UKIP, and David came and helped me, and I will forever be grateful. So just as a little token of my appreciation, I think Jake's in the corner, he's just got a little something to say thank you so much for, Jake, you want to come over and bring them, and say thank you ever so much for just being there throughout the whole time. There are certain members in this room that are laughing, but they're about to get it. The next one that comes up, and actually this is for many different reasons, and it's not so much that he directly helped me as a person, but he directly helped certain people and young YI members during their tenure who have been embattled, that people have bullied, that they have come out and they have attacked, and these are older members in this party, and it is very, very upsetting. But there was one man who stuck up for these people, who I count among some of my closest friends. And he did it consistently, and he has never, ever shown any wavering in their support. So Nathan, I'd like to say thank you ever so much. We all know that they can be a troublesome bunch, trust me. I know they give me a lot of headaches, I know that, but seriously, thank you. And last but not least, is to, without a doubt, I would have quit. This is no word of a lie. I would have quit about 4 times had it not been for this person. We wouldn't have had the speakers event that we had at YI conference. We wouldn't have had nearly any of the fantastic things that we did throughout the whole of YI in my tenure without this person. The only person in the whole party I could ring without wavering, she would answer the phone. And she would give me the sound advice, proper advice. You know, she'd tell you, Joe, you're talking rubbish, shut up. Or she'd say, you know, you're doing the right thing, keep going. And I mean, why I was a debt of gratitude towards this woman that you have no idea. Behind the scenes, I mean, seriously. the money, the time, the effort, what she gave to YI. If you were sitting in my seat, you would want to stand, give her a standing ovation. Actually, will give her a standing ovation, I'm going to say. So Jill, thank you so much. So I have one more person to thank, because obviously in my tenure you don't do it on your own. And that's actually kind of why I introduced the controversial running mate thing when it came to the election, because I realised quite significantly that you don't do this on your own. And this person, my God, does he annoy me? No, I mean, honestly, I mean, just talk for hours on the phone. I mean, you couldn't get him off. But the drive and determination he's shown, YI is at a crucial precipice now. I was lucky enough to see domestic representation across the whole of the UK for UKIP. I was lucky to preside as YI chairman for that. I was also lucky to preside over Brexit. I mean, for goodness sake, there's not many young people that can say I was the youth chairman of the only political party that stood up and they fought against the establishment and won. And I mean, for that, I'll be eternally grateful for all of you for voting for me, and I'll be eternally grateful for the hard work that you've all done. But I didn't do it on my own. And I think that's testament to why the fact that this man was elected. I think because we're about to step forward into a new time. We cannot be dragged to the centre as UKIP. There can be no centrism in this party. Because the centrism if we are dragged to the middle of the people without belief, the middle is for people who do not have an idea, do not have anything to stand for. And I will not see this party dragged to the centre and into oblivion. It will not happen. We need to stand against the ideals that are attacking this Western world, and we need to stand up now. So I tell you what, to anybody, and especially if you do not turn up to YI conference because you want to stand there and you want to go and kiss the asses of all the chairmen that are at the other event, then you are not worthy of being YI leader. God, I'm going to get fired. Oh. But that has to be said. It has to be said. And Jamie, I bought you something specially. We bought you a red rose. We bought you red roses for the death of the Labour Party. So I think in the long and short of it, I used to be YI chairman, and actually up until about 10 minutes ago, I was also the UK National Press Officer. Apparently not anymore now. So anyway, no, seriously, I thank you all so much for the time and effort that you put. And actually, I think if anybody knows me, that's probably the first time I've actually expressed a real opinion publicly like that. But I think it's about time. YI should not be put on the fringes, and YI will not bow down. We should be the first priority, because if this party has a future, you need to be here. Every other candidate is here. Every other candidate. And that says a lot. That says a lot. Anyway, right, I'm off, and I'm actually going to go to the pub because I think it's lunchtime now. But seriously, thank you so much, YI, for my time. I've had a brilliant
Okay, chaps,
4 more years.